Right. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start off by saying thank you to Sue for setting out how CIHT continues to be at the forefront of the highways and transportation agenda. And as she set out, we will look forward to continuing to work with the new government in ensuring that infrastructure is very much on the agenda moving forward. Over the last few months, and while I've been in this role, I've been really struck by the extent to which CIHT's view is increasingly sought and respected by key decision makers across the United Kingdom. It feels especially true when people are looking for answers and guidance on some of the really strategic issues that we face as a sector. And I know that it's a theme that myself and the fellows on the Board of Trustees are committed to ensuring we continue to make that case. Now, I hope you've all enjoyed the meal. It's important that amongst all the daily pressures, we take time out to celebrate our success, to catch up with friends and colleagues, and yes, have a bit of fun at the same time. And I very much like to think that today is one of those occasions. Now, many of you, like me, have been here before, so we know what this slot is all about. I now have a chance to say a few words before we get to our guest speaker, Deborah Searle. There's been a little bit of debate about what constitutes a few words. Some say who know me that it's not a phrase that they readily associate when I'm on the platform talking. However, I very much hope to perhaps confound them today. To start with, though, I'd like to say a few thanks. Firstly, to my colleagues and fellow trustees for their continued advice and support. Your role as trustees make this role as president an awful lot easier. In addition to thanking Sue for her personal support, I'd like to thank all the staff at Britannia Walk who work on your behalf as staff for CIHT. Again, on behalf not just of myself and the trustees, but all the membership. You get to see and meet and know the people at Britannia Walk over this time as the president, and the staff put in a tremendous amount of work on our behalf, and it is very much appreciated by all of us. Now, I'm fortunate to have an employer in England's economic heartland, one of the new generation of subnational transport bodies that supported me throughout the time as a trustee, and particularly this year as president. I'd particularly like to say three personal thank yous. First of all, to Neil Gibson, who has been a source of wisdom, advice, and at times a confidant throughout. And I wouldn't have been able to do what I've been able to do without your help, Neil, so thank you. To Lindsay Cox, who many talents include impeccable insight and common sense, and who's been at the heart of so much that we've achieved as the Heartland in the first 5 years. And finally, as a thank you, a special thank you to Beth Dormer, who performs miracles with my diary on a daily basis and does so in spite of my continued attempts to be in multiple places at once on the same day. So thank you to Beth for her support as well. So, as I said, it's a tremendous honour to be CIHT president, and I actually feel truly humbled to be knowing that I'm following in the footsteps of so many inspirational figures, some of whom are on table 33, and I hope you're enjoying your afternoon lunch as much as everybody else. When I look back over my first 30 years as a member of CIHT, it's with great affection and great pride. I feel very fortunate to be part of an industry and a profession that day in, day out makes a difference to the lives of family and friends, businesses and communities. It's the reason why I chose Shaping Tomorrow Today as my presidential theme. Whether you're maintaining an existing asset, whether you're delivering a piece of new investment in infrastructure or services, or whether you're planning for the future, each and every one of us is helping shape the world around us, and we're doing it on a daily basis. Now, those of you who've worked with me over the years will know, perhaps only too well, that I received wisdom as something to be challenged. As John F. Kennedy once said, we need people who are able to dream of things that never were and ask, why not? And it's a call that I've sought to live up to, whatever role I've had. I've certainly treated my job description merely as a starting point for any career stage I've been at. And I know that there will be people in this room for whom I've worked who may have found that at times irritating, but I make no apology for being somebody who goes beyond the path well trodden. What excites me, though, genuinely excites me, is that I know I'm in good company. The knowledge, the skills, the talent that is gathered here today confront challenges, develop solutions, and deliver awe-inspiring engineering masterpieces on a daily basis. Collectively, we provide the leadership that inspires and creates opportunities for others to realize their potential. And at a personal level, I've seen that coming together in the last few months, where along with colleagues from local government and from the private sector, we've started that conversation that will bring the voice of highways together into one, so that we can have a conversation with the new government and make sure that we get the investment in infrastructure and services that we need. But notwithstanding all the great things that we do, right here, right now, too many of our transport networks lack the resilience and the reliability that engenders confidence. There are still too many instances where transport poverty acts as a barrier, too often where individuals are disconnected from opportunities to realize their potential because their travel is too expensive or too limited. And at the same time, consequences of poor air quality is becoming all too obvious at an individual level, and extreme weather events are no longer extreme. So it's clear we have to do things differently. Business as usual is not acceptable. However, if we are to avoid repeating our past, we need to change the basis on which we make our investment decisions. Robert Kennedy once observed that GDP measures everything except that which makes life worthwhile. And if you think about your lives, your communities, what makes life special, I think there is a point there that we need to bear in mind moving forward. And so whilst financial affordability will continue to be important, we need to start giving as much weight to some of the other costs that are involved in infrastructure, whether it's carbon, whether it's environmental impact. And I believe we have both a professional and a personal, indeed we have a moral responsibility to ensure that we are part of that change. As someone who's worked in transport planning for most of my career, I have a personal sense of regret that we continue to struggle to integrate land use and transport planning. Better planning, better transport, better places. It's guidance, it's something for us to use. But its success lies in our own hands. We are the ones that will make it a success. Sue's already mentioned the Climate Change Pledge, a conscious decision on our part as the Board of Trustees to ensure the institution steps up to the need for leadership on one of the most significant challenges we face as society. Individually, we will start to find we are facing occasions where we will be faced with questions of ethics about the proposals that we are being asked to work on. And as an institution, we need to be there to support our members and ensure that collectively we continue to deliver public good. Now, as it's festive season, and given that we have a new government that is listening, I thought I'd give you my 3 Christmas wishes for the sector. First, we need to continue to make the case for investment in infrastructure and services. But we need to ensure that that investment is fit for the 21st century and not merely those schemes that have been pulled out from the dusty drawer marked schemes of good of yesteryear. And we need to prioritise them on the basis of cost, both in terms of money and environmental and natural resource impact. Secondly, decision-making at both national and regional level needs to be focused on delivering strategic outcomes. I still see too many instances where decisions are made based on the specifics of a proposal and too little account given to the wider impact for the transport system as a whole. For too long, there's been a void in our strategic capability. I passionately believe that regional and strategic planning at a subnational level is the way forward, and my colleagues as subnational transport bodies are definitely stepping up to fill that void. Moreover, some of us are working towards aligning the investment on transport with digital and utilities. By the way, this is the third incarnation in my career in which I've been involved in regional structures. I just like to think it's maybe the third and most long-sustaining one. And thirdly, we need to harness the vision, the energy, and the passion of the next generation of leaders, indeed the generation after that. Investment decisions made in the next 12 months may not come to reality for 5, 10, maybe more years. So it's absolutely fundamental that those who are going to be affected by that are having a much stronger voice in the decision-making moving forward. I have to say, meeting the next generation of leaders, the apprentices, the students, the graduates, is one of the great joys of this role. And when I went to the Young Professionals Conference in Manchester, it was a timely reminder that not only is the talent inspiring, but in them we have the equality, diversity, and inclusivity that ensures our sector's future is in good hands. As Sue's touched on, our membership as an institution increasingly reflects a more diverse background to the benefit of the wider profession, and it's helped substantially by those partners who have signed up to the diversity and inclusion agenda. It represents progress, but there remains much to be done, and CIHT will continue to do that, provide that leadership, but it also requires a conscious effort on the part of every individual. So I want to draw to a close by reflecting on our ability to shape tomorrow today. As individuals, as an institution, and as a sector, this is something that's a passion of mine throughout my career. We, each and every one of us, are in a privileged position to be able to make a difference. Unlike the commuter who complains about the need for somebody to do something, we are that someone. And our work, each and every day, is that something. Management textbooks often talk in terms of setting out an ambition as a moonshot, rather relevant phrase these days in this particular year. 20th of July 1969 marked the culmination of a journey that began with a vision mapped out just 8 years previously by John F. Kennedy. A vision that served as a catalyst for economic and social change on a scale and at a pace that many considered impossible, at least to start with. 8 years. That's all it took to complete the single most incredible project humanity has ever undertaken so far. So in looking forward at the challenges for the next 20 or 30 years, we must not be constrained by what has always been. We must adopt a new vision for the transport system. We need to dare to dream of things that could be and use our skills and our ability to make it happen, and to do so at pace. We must choose a new course, one that delivers that vision. But we need to remember that doing the right thing will not always be easy, and that we will be challenged both personally and professionally along the way. But today we have 1,800 people in this room who can, and indeed are already doing so, to make a difference on a daily basis. And if you're a CIHT member, then you are part of a family that is over 14,000 strong, that is likewise doing and making a difference every day. We can choose to be not just the advocates of change, but the agents of its delivery. Distinguished ladies and guests, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a real honor to stand here before you today. You, the CIHT members, make the institution what it is: thriving, respected, influential. And if you're not a member, well, come and join us. You'll find a very warm welcome, and more importantly, you'll have the opportunity to shape tomorrow today. Thank you very much.